Hello, Flosstube. I finished. Oh, isn't it so gorgeous? I am so incredibly pleased. Oh, let me take off my needle minder. Okay, let's do a little tour of the work. So I started in the center and stitched the arc, and then I moved down to the bicycle and the flowers that are there with the bicycle. Then I went up into these stamps, made the little lamp, and then these other flowers with their cute birds on them. And I went across, we've got some wine and some cheese, and then some more stamps. And hey guys, what is this place? I don't know what it is. It's supposed to be in Paris. Anyways, and then we've got a croissant. Yeah, croissant, little like coffee, espresso, something. Some more flowers. And we've got, this is adorable. Got our little "From Paris with Love." Here we go. And the flag in the shape of a heart coming out of an envelope. So cute. Okay. Oh, so it's done. It's stitched anyways. I still need to wash it, I guess. Everybody says to wash it. And then press it. And then it'll be done. And then I have to put it in a frame. But here's the thing. So I have these three. Let's see. We went over these two before, right? I had the one I just did and one Martre. And then I bought the Eiffel Tower. So now I have all three. And I would like to finish all of them and then frame them somehow that like coordinates, or maybe they're all in the same frame. I don't know, I haven't decided. But anyway, so I'm not gonna frame this one right away, I don't think. So these are actually oriented vertically, whereas this one is horizontal. And I mean, it's very nearly square, but it's not quite. So, I don't know, maybe this would be in the middle, and then these two would be like little buddies to the side. Could work. And both of these are nearly full coverage. They have, so like this one, the sky up here, that's just the white fabric, and then some spotting down this side, but everything else is filled. So there's this whole large section that's fully filled. And then similarly with this one, there's sky, and then this street area is not filled, but a lot of this is just solid stitching. So I'm toying with trying one of y'all's like stitching methods for full coverage. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet whether I want to do that or not. But I'm very happy to have all three and to have this one finished. So yeah, and then when I ordered that last kit, I also ordered the floss to make Catkin and Lily's little fox, which I purchased for Christmas. I got money for Christmas, and I bought, it's not little fox, woodland fox. Woodland Fox from Catkin and Lily, which I will be stitching for my second baby. Because he's fox-like. So he gets the fox. My other baby's like a frog. So hopefully I'll be able to convince Kat to design a frog that can go with the fox. We'll see how we do, right? So one thing that I don't know why my words, well, I do this in the middle of the flippin' night, okay? I get the 4-year-old to bed. Usually there's someone else still home making some noises, but I have tonight, everyone else is gone, so that part is nice. But I'm usually quite tired, so my brain is not thinking all the thoughts very clearly. Oh dear. Anyways, so on this piece, I want to have a little chit chat about backstitch, because it's interesting. So a lot of people complain about backstitch, or they dread it, or they just won't do it, which fascinates me, because overall, to me, it's just sewing. I don't know, I guess I learned that early on along with cross stitch, so it's just not that big a deal. That being said, there are levels of annoyance with the backstitch. So, like these things that are out in the open, the words, right? I'm not stitching around any other cross stitches or through anything. That's easy, right? At the same time, I modified a lot of the fonts because I did not like the kerning, the space between the letters, or the letter shape. It would be one letter with like a really weird shape compared to the other letters. I'm a little bit fussy. I like the font to be kind of consistent. Or they had it, the designer made like the M's to be 1.5 spaces. I don't want to stitch that. That's not fun. I made them 2 spaces, so they have 3 lines to go down. It's a personal thing, don't worry about it. So anyway, so there's out in the open backstitching, no big deal. Then there's going around the edges stitching, right? And I find that to be fine. Like, we get along just fine. Going around the edges, it's easy, it's brainless, you just stitch along the edge. And then kind of a little bit up from that are these edges that are not squared, but you're still going along the outside of the piece, right? Not too bad. We get along okay. And then there's stitching between and over other stitches. That starts to get a little bit harder. But as long as it's still along the actual lines, so like this, you know, is just along this line, it's not a big deal. A lot of even the stitching inside the flowers, at least in that sense, is not excessively challenging. The part with those where it got challenging was that the angles are wacky. So you're not doing horizontal, vertical, diagonal, or not entirely. You have a lot of over 1 up 2. That's not too bad. We get along okay. Over 1 up 3. I don't like it. It's too long to make 1 stitch. And to make 2 stitches means that I have to go in the middle of one of my squares, which is kind of obnoxious in blank space, But when you have a stitch there, now you're trying to go through the middle of your stitch that you already stitched. I didn't like that. I finally kind of made peace with it. We started to get along okay-ish. Okay. And then similarly, over 1, up 4. Over 2, up 3, and they would change subtly. So especially at first, before I really got used to that, I'd be like, oh, it's an angle, and so I'd go to make a normal diagonal, and then I'd have to pick it out because it was not the right angle. It needs to go 3 over or whatever. So I did that, but there were a couple of things that even once I kind of figured out how to make things look good, did not work for me. So the first was this windmill, and I will put up a little picture and keep chit-chatting. So the windmill, when I stitched it with the smaller stitches, the edges look kind of ragged, and and they got hidden, especially in some of these darker stitched areas. So I didn't like that. I didn't think it looked very good. And I decided that I would go in and just stitch over with very long stitches. So from here to here, 1 stitch, then there, then back, all the way around these 4 windmill blades. And I think it looks much better now. So let's see. Play with editing and hopefully it works out for you to be able to see both. Right, so I did that, and I like it. I like the windmill much better now. The other thing I did is that the flowers had white backstitching on them, B5200 for those who care. And it's very bright and a little bit shiny, and it looked really weird. Okay, if I made the stitches 1 section at a time, then they were hidden in the flower, you couldn't see them. And if I made them big, they looked weird, and if I made it half and half, it looked even weirder. I didn't like it. I really, really did not like the white. So what I did was take it all out, and I used instead this lightest color from the flowers, which is 151, which is a very pale pink. And it looks a lot better. It doesn't bother me like the other did. I a little bit wonder if there was an even better color, but I don't think so. I think it's fine. So I did that, and I also smoothed the lines. I would just start at the beginning, wherever she had the beginning drawn, and go to the end. So I wasn't doing multiple steps. I just made the line long. So here, let's see. Like here, okay. We'll just do one little section at a time. So this flower, I think you can see, oh, here it is. You see this? I think this was like 3 stitches in the pattern, and I just made it 1. You understand? Down here, hold on. I think, so I did use more stitches in here, and they hide a little bit, but it's not awful. It does provide that little accent that I think was kind of the point. And then I got kind of good at it. So down on this one, you can see they overlap and branch out. Well, part of that was because the pattern was more branchy there, and I'm quite pleased with this, how this looks. Where I ignored, there were all these little zigzags and stuff, and I just made lines that overlap each other a little bit, and it came out phenomenally well. So I'm very satisfied. I'm satisfied with that. So after doing that whole kit, I still have loads of floss left. So they gave 2 meter skeins of most of the colors, and then 8 meters of, I think it was 2 colors, and the white. And I only used like half of the floss, so there's plenty left for me to use for something else. So that's kind of cool. Build my collection up a little bit at a time. Okay, so what's next? I have too many. So I finished one, and I now have kitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. But I really think the next thing needs to be the spring Biscornu Sal from Stitchonomy. I feel like if I don't go ahead and do that, it's going to become stale, if you will. And I don't want it to just sit there. I want to go ahead and do that and have my Biscornu because they're cool. Okay, so if you don't know, a Biscornu is a pincushion, and it has a specific shape. So it's created by taking 2 squares and then rotating them so that their corners don't line up, and then sewing their corners. So you end up with a zigzag around the edge, and then you sew the middle together so it kind of squishes down like a tomato or something. They're adorable. And this pattern is so cute, and it has both a fox and a frog. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that this needs to be the next project. So I guess the first thing to do is to prep my fabric. So what I did on this one was I just frayed the edges. I just pulled out enough rows that it would be straight, really. And I had no problems with it continuing to unravel. So I like that technique. And at first the edges were kind of crunchy because it's Aida and it's just crunchy fabric, but they have softened with the months that I spent on this. And I think that that's just, it's a really easy, straightforward way to do my edges. And also it has the added benefit of squaring everything up so that you're not starting in a bad place. So if you find yourself often dealing with crooked fabric, this is a way to assess that from the beginning and not be stitching in the wrong place. So the Biscornu has to be stitched on Aida because it must be square, like cannot be wonky in any kind of way. So that was one of the instructions. Make sure you stitch on Aida. I bought the kit, so I won't have to deal with it. I can just use what they sent me. And I'm still not sure what count this is, but it's pink. It's pink Aida. My threads are getting stuck. Oh, there we go. And on my last project, I did not iron my fabric before I began. I just dove right in and started. I think this time that I will iron. Because, so interestingly, the horizontal fold has mostly worked out. You can't really see it, but the vertical fold is still very obvious. And the fabric had a tendency to want to fold along those lines, which was a little bit annoying. So I think that I will iron this time before I begin stitching. Look at this edge, you see that? It's like multiple rows of crookedness going on. So that's why I do this. It's also a little bit satisfying. I have to like, there, I think we're square now. Because this is the selvage, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's do this side. Okay. Here we go. We are ironing. All right. This is a couple days later. I went to go find my iron. I don't know where it is. I went one to my mom, which is fine, but I swear I had another one in the storage that I saw in one of the boxes. I went to go get it, and now I can't find it, so who knows? Maybe I just made it up. Whatever. So I bought this little iron. It's very cute. It's just hard to iron out. It seems like. I do not know. I ironed this. I can still see the crease, so I'm annoyed, but it's fine. I'm going to mark my grid lines because this pattern very much needs precision. I made a lot of mistakes on my other one, and that's not going to work very well for this one. So here we go. We're going to find the middle of the side. There, boom. And I'm just using colors 6, 4, 5 to do this. All right, I'm gonna trace over, perhaps. Here we go. Maybe my lighting is not good here, like at all. So I'm gonna trace around in here, okay? Another one. There we go. And trace up. the under 3 over 2, that's 5 stitches, see? Here we go. Ta-da. Check. Looks very even. I think it's good. Okay. Thread the needle. Go the other way. Here we go. Find my center again. Is this one? Just repeat the process. Okay, so I have completed the center lines. And I'm now going to do the same thing every 10 stitches, both horizontally and vertically, okay? We'll be back. All right. So the benefit of doing things this way is that if I make a mistake, it's easier-ish to find. So if you look here, everybody's lined up nice and neat. I already fixed one. In my first one. I made a mistake in the first round, but I wasn't paying attention and I just did more. And then here, I got to here, and you see it's finished in a different spot. And I was like, that's not right. So then I go and check along, where did my mistake go? Oh, here it is, it's way up here. So I could just pull the thread out and do it again. It's like not difficult. Here we go, pull, pull, pull. Here it comes. Okay. Ta-da. See? And now I'll just redo that section. And when I do the cross hatch, it will be even more self-checking. Like it'll be more self-correcting because the stitches will go over these in a certain way. And so if I'm getting off, it'll be really self-evident really early on. So just thought I'd share the benefit of sewing with threads versus drawing on it with a marker. If you make a mistake, it's easy to fix and easy to find and easy to fix. So I gridded the whole thing. It looks really good. Oh, it is. It's 14 count. Pale Pink Ada by Zweigart. That's what this. Next, I will make floss drops. Again, these are this shape from, what's this called? Alpine Theory. Alpine Theory. And they're designed for the floss to go around like that, which I didn't do with my last kit because I was paranoid that things would slide off and get messed up. But I'm gonna be brave this time, in part because I don't like the little kink that it makes when you put the loop down here. And also these colors are just much easier to tell apart. I can tell these colors apart. And I got better at telling the others apart as well as I went. So here, I already put my gray on. It's so much easier to use this way. This is 209. And I put the label, and these labels fit nicely. Ta-da! Put it on the ring. Let's go this way. Okay. So I'm gonna do all those. We'll be back. Ta-da! That looks so good. It's this beautiful rainbow. Let me flip it this way. Look at it. Oh. And then with the fabric, the light on there. I don't know. Okay. So I'm now ready to stitch. Pretty cool. So next time I should have this started because now I'm ready to stitch. And I look forward to chatting with you later. I hope you're having a lovely spring. We're getting close to summer, aren't we? In Houston, I consider late May summer anyways. This is first summer. And then you get into like late June, July, and August. I call that, it depends on my mood. Sometimes it's hotter than hell. Sometimes it's the devil's armpit. You get the idea. And then we move usually September, October-ish. I call that second summer. And then sometimes by November we have fall. Depends. But anyways, I hope you all are having a lovely whatever season it is where you are, and I will see you the next time I make a video. All right?